Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun, and I'm in Dublin, Ireland. This is Imran. He is in Thun, Switzerland. This is our long distance friendship podcast. This is episode number 40, and we're going to be kicking things off with out of context weekly scenarios. This is the part of the show where me and Imran give each other sections of our week out of context, and the other person has to try and guess what is going on. So, Imran, what is your out of context scenario for the week?
My out of context scenario is Troy Parrott playing poker.
Troy Parrott playing poker. So I'm gonna guess straight off the bat that when that goal went in, you were playing poker.
Correct. Yeah,
Is that it?
that is it. Yeah, two
Okay.
weeks in the back. 2 weeks in the back. I haven't had some niche, you know, chaotic, suicidal sheep. They've just been nice, easy ones.
Yeah,
Not
just
every
ones.
week, not every week in my life is just like, I jumped off a building and did five backflips. But yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I was playing poker for the first time in work. They kind of organized it with a couple of people, and yeah, I'd say I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of learning. Like I kind of didn't know what I was doing half of the time and just kind of like observing other people. But it was a bit annoying because they scheduled it as the game was going on. But anytime that like no one was playing a hand, so for example, like if you don't know what poker is, if you fold, you're just not in it that round for the chips. So like anytime I folded, or like if the game was like back to back, like it was because there was a bit of time during the game where it was pacing really hard, I would just fold even though I had good cards. I was just fold, and then like when it got down to like the last 5 minutes, like we all just took like a 10 minute break just to watch it. Um, but yeah, we'll talk about it later on in the podcast. But yeah, that was my fun watching Troy Parr. Um,
I've never played poker in my life ever. I don't
honestly,
know. I
yeah, yeah,
I think Jack Black's the one where like you have to get the closest to 21 or something, isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
then
correct.
like that's all I know about like any game of cards that isn't Snap.
Yeah, honestly, it's fairly simple. Like you just kind of I woke up that morning and I was like, right, I have no idea what to do. I'm going to watch a 5 minute video and I'm going to download some app how to play, and I did that. And then I was at the table and I still didn't know what was going on. And then one of the lads that was sitting beside me, he was really sound. Like he was just like, okay, here's the basic terms that you need to know. And I was like, okay, Grant.
I can just imagine like you like download that app in the morning, your entire savings are gone in the afternoon.
No, yeah, no,
Just
no,
your, like, your
it
bank
was
balance is just
not.
gone.
It was actually pirate money. Like I was like a pirate character on the ship trying to win like a. It wasn't even real money. Like there was no way I was meddling with real money. Like I played in real money in the poker, but it was only like 20 quid or something. Like
Yeah, fair,
so
fair.
I was grand. I didn't mind. Like I already knew I was gonna lose the money before I even started. But I actually came like fifth out of 10, so it's not
That's
bad.
not bad for your first go. For your first
Not bad.
go.
And I just wanted to win one hand, and I ended up winning eight hands. So not bad.
Okay,
Not bad at
okay.
all.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Progress
There you
for
go.
sure.
There. Anyway, what is your scenario?
My out of context weekly scenario is I was rushed into making an egg fried rice.
Rushed into making an egg fried rice. Did you just order a Chinese, but the rice didn't come?
No.
Okay. I thought I was on the good lines there. Okay. You were rushed into making uh, egg fried rice. Has it anything to do with like dinner purposes? Like
Yes.
you were making dinner. Okay. So,
Well, no. So the first part of that, yes, we weren't making dinner though, which is why it was strange.
right, right. So were you having dinner with other people? Like did they invite
Yes.
you over for dinner? Okay.
Yes.
And maybe it was something you were having like kind of like a Chinese cuisine and they didn't know how to make the egg fried rice, but you knew how to make it, so they asked you to make it.
Kind of. Yeah, you're getting warmer. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So were you with friends or were you with friends? Yeah.
No, family.
Family. Okay. So were you with your nanny and granddad?
Yes.
Yes, right. And they had a go at making kind of like Chinese cuisine, Asian cuisine.
Not
Mm,
really. No.
not really.
They
Okay.
they were making cuisine for sure.
Okay, so they're
But
on.
it wasn't specifically them trying to attempt something.
Okay. You just came over to the house and your nanny was like, "Here, Sean, you make egg fried rice."
Kind of. Yeah, you're hot.
I'm hot. Okay. I'm hot. What's the big context I'm missing here?
You've got the bulk of it. Like it's more just the kind of like smaller details that kind of make it a bit more random.
Okay.
but like I think I can give it. I
Was
think I
this
can give it
like
a
we
like.
used? Was this like egg fried rice with like a Sunday dinner or something random like that?
Yes, yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, I'll
Okay.
give you that.
All right,
I
class.
think
We're back.
I'll give you that. Right. So
We're back. We're back.
that yeah. So on Saturday, my grandparents invited myself, Simone, and my auntie and uncle and some of my cousins around for dinner.
Yeah.
So we went around, and when you get invited over to, or at least when you invite someone to your house, you typically do the cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My nana, I was literally in the sitting room, just waffling away to my auntie and uncle and to Simone and my cousins or whatever. And my nana, and for the last couple of weeks, my nana has been like ringing me with like, cause she's been getting some her parts of the house renovated. So like she keeps ringing me, going, Sean, I found this random thing from when you were 5. Do you want it?
Okay. Yeah.
So
She's
I
reminiscing.
already at this point of the night, we're in the house less than an hour, and she had pulled me out like 4 times out of the sitting room to go, Sean, look what I found. And like
Right.
there was boxes full of like old Yu-Gi-Oh cards and school shirts and stuff. Like, to be fair, stuff that I like wanted to keep, but like nothing that I
Yeah.
like needed to bring right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then so she calls me again. I was like, what has she got for me now? Like, and she goes, Sean, will you make an egg fried rice there? And I was like looking over, and there was a full roast ham and a
What?
curly kale there, but there was also a beef curry
Oh, okay.
as well.
Okay.
So like
Right.
like my nana, as I said last week, and you know this, and anybody who's met my grandmother Joan before knows that she is like the nicest, most thoughtful person in the world, and she decided to make 3 different cuisines at one go. She
Right.
made a roast, she made a curry, and she made a pasta.
That's banging.
Carbs essential, let me tell you.
Yeah. Not,
But yeah,
not going for the gym diet.
she just goes, oh, I just thought you'd know how to make it. We just make an egg fried rice there for everybody, and she'd already stuck on the rice. And man, like when you're sticking on like pasta or rice, and you go, oh geez, I might have stuck on a little bit too much there. There was like
Yeah.
twice the amount of food. Like there wasn't. To be fair, there was about 7 or 8 of us in the house. Like so there was a fair amount of people. There was enough rice here for 20. Like
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
put on like the whole. I don't know if she put the whole bag of jasmine rice on, but she put on like a big bulk.
A hefty
you
portion, like.
know, and it was already boiling. She's like, "Go on, off you go. You just go away there." So yeah, I just randomly was making
Ended up
egg
making
fried
egg fried
rice out of
rice.
nowhere. Like I was literally talking about like I don't know. This is before the Ireland match, so we weren't talking like we are just talking about like the shite, like about work or whatever. And I got pulled out, and all of a sudden I was like whacked in, and like I had to be ready in like 10 minutes. She was like, "Oh, we'll
Yeah.
serve
Yeah.
you in a
Yeah.
few minutes." I
Pressure's
was like,
on, like.
"What?"
One
Yeah,
thing about being in an Irish household, though, like, is there's always like a big
there's always
hefty
jobs to be
portion
done.
for dinner. Yeah, yeah. There's always something, some kind of
Wouldn't
food to be done
wouldn't
with.
mind then. I was the only one that ate the egg fried rice then.
Oh, for God's sake.
Everybody else, like I think my uncle took a spoonful just out of pity because he also had like the roast, and he was like, I'll just try it. And he
Was
was like, yeah,
was the
like you're
rice
right,
nice?
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. But that's my context weekly scenario for the week.
Good old John. Fair
I'll
play
tell you
though.
something. There's no other woman like her except
Yeah.
Pam from Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, you are quite very close. Very close. Love that. Good old John. She knows what she's doing.
Oh, woman. Well.
Well,
Mm.
she can
Yeah.
cook for me
So we'll
anytime.
move on to our topic for the week, ladies and gentlemen. And our topic for the week is the power of small gestures. And I kind of came up with this. I was just thinking, like, we've kind of me and Imran had our birthdays over the last couple of weeks, and we're kind of coming up to Christmas time now, and we've
Yeah.
kind of kissed, we've pecked on this previously in other podcasts, but yeah, just like I just kind of thought it'd be nice to like discuss like small little things that you can do in your day-to-day life or when you're out and about, and things that we've done for each other, and just just how these little things can make the world a bit of a better place.
I think it's like on a small level as well, like little stuff like that. It really like makes a difference to someone's day. Like even like I've recently like for a lot of my feed is like it kind of became a trend for a while where people are trying to deal with getting over social anxiety. So what they do is they go into public and they make like small gestures slash like compliments to people, like just go walking by saying, "Oh, have a good day," and you know, "Oh, your hair looks lovely," like stuff like this. Like this is just something that I've seen recently on my screen, which is actually nice compared to like the brain rotten that just be on my feed 90% of the time. So yeah, like one thing I would say, like I think it's really nice like to wish someone just like have a nice day. Even like if like for example, maybe that might be with like Simone. Like say like you and Simone are out of the house all day, you might just give her a text in the morning or like, hello, how are you? Hope you have the best day. I'll talk to you later on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's that's something we like do. Like when Simone's not working from home, like we still like not text throughout the day, but like usually it'll get to like just before lunchtime. We'll just check in and be like, "Are you still alive?
Yeah, 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 you're not dead yet.
Fantastic! Like how's
Yeah,
your day
yeah.
going? Like gee, is Ran? Have you had a stressful meeting this morning? Has that and popped up? You know?
Yeah, it's nice. Like it's nice to think like that, like especially for like me and Nicola, because our work schedules are so different. Like when she's come on back from work, I'm going to work, and then we only see each other for like maybe 40 minutes at the end of the day during the week, and then unless I have a day off, then we kind of spend the time together. So like we spend a lot of our time like just checking in on each other. Like we probably ring each other about three, four times a day. And like that sounds like a lot, but it's genuinely like literally like 5 minute conversation most of the time. Like, how are you getting on? How's work? What's the plan for what you want for dinner? Da, 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 da.
But they,
Or like,
like you say, like that's a lot, but in the context of like you're only seeing each other for like that short of amounts of time
that's
when
what
you
I
live
mean.
together, like it's not a lot
Yeah.
at all. You
And I
know?
think I said this on the podcast before. Like, we actually see each other less since we started moving in together.
Mm.
Since we moved, and like that obviously is most people, but it was like different when we lived away from each other. And you kind of relate this when you didn't live with Simone. It's kind of like you kind of like need to make the time. Like you have to schedule in, and like sometimes you have like I don't know, like you plan to meet up with someone and it dropped, but then maybe Simone's free that you can get another time to see her. So kind of stuff like that has kind of like made a big difference for us since we've started living together, where we notice, okay, when we actually have time together, it's a bit more. Oh, I wouldn't say like special. Yeah, I would say special in that kind of way, but like more like you're more present because
Yeah,
you don't get to
yeah,
see them more.
appreciate it a little
Yeah,
bit more.
appreciate it more. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
I think like on like a basis level, like you're saying there, like one thing myself and Shaun, I actually think Shaun started. Um, like me and Shaun we normally get each other small gifts for our birthdays, nothing major like. But one thing me and Shaun do is we send each other a card. And not many people do that anymore. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago
I think we touched on it
about
before.
saying, yeah, like we touched on it, like that the kind of art of like card giving is kind of dying,
Mm.
but there's people that are still trying to push it, and like me and Sean both like enjoy gifting cards, and I would say I definitely kind of got that more from when Sean initially started it, and I feel like I've kind of then jumped on it, and I don't just do it with Sean now, like I do it with other people as well, but mainly when I gift someone, me and Sean, because we share the podcast and we're friends as well, obviously, like we've started doing it, so I don't know
Yeah,
if you can touch on that.
for me, like I just think it's really nice to have something from someone like with their handwriting on it, and like even like with like for us, like what we've started doing as well, since you've moved to Switzerland, is like sending postcards to each other, and
Yeah,
I think you had been doing that before when you went on interrailing.
yeah.
Nicola, I think you had started sending me postcards from places that you were at, and so that's kind of become a thing now. Whenever we travel, I was actually trying to get you a postcard when I was in Wexford a few weeks ago, which like I know isn't like you've probably been to Wexford plenty of times.
Plenty
Like
of times. My
it's just
my
down the
auntie lives
road.
down there.
But like I was like, oh, just because I was on a little trip, like I'm just gonna do it, like But I actually couldn't find. I found loads with Ireland, but I couldn't find any with like
Well, it's in
Wexford on it. I was
Wexford.
like, I can't just send them a random one with Ireland on the back. Like it's just gonna look stupid, you know.
I'm trapped in Wexford. I'm in an underground bunker. Help me. No,
Yeah,
but I know the context of it's nice because you're not expecting a postcard. That's the
yeah,
thing. Like, well, at least with a birthday card, not that you initially expect it, but sometimes if me and you sent each other one every single year, you would expect getting one. Where a postcard, it's kind of niche. You just randomly get one in the post 2.5 weeks later.
mm,
You know what I mean? And like I always find it nice when I get one from like my cousin or maybe my auntie when she was living away for a while, because you're not expecting it. It's just nice, you're checking in on someone, making sure like this is what I'm up to. I hope you're well. Love you lots, all that kind of thing. So
mm,
it's
yeah.
nice.
Is it, I really like having someone's handwriting there as well. There's like a
Mm,
bit of there's a connection there for me for
mm,
that. Like I think especially like with like people that to think like at some point we're not going to be here anymore. Like and I feel like that's just a way of like yeah, I know you can like print out photos and there's everything's digitized now, so like there'll be lots of memories like online and stuff as well. But I think there's just something about having like like if someone's handwriting is like very unique to that person. Like I think I could be wrong in saying this, but I think there's like really good science behind that, and like nobody in the world has the exact same handwriting as you, because like
Yeah.
it's all so like different, and like especially like I hate my handwriting, like but like I've had people say, oh, I like your handwriting and stuff, but like it's
Oh,
more
mine's shocking.
yeah, I think it's a generational thing of like like when I look at my grandparents' handwriting, like on both sides, like it's like calligraphy, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gorgeous, but it's because they've written everything down for 30, 40, 50 years, like whereas for us, like, well, yeah, of course we did it in school. Like I don't write I write a, like I'd say maybe once or twice a day on post-it notes,
yeah.
just because it's stuff I don't want like clogging up on my notes app on my phone. Like I like to just write little things on post-it notes. Like, but
Yeah.
other than that, like I don't write like paragraphs, or I don't write a lot other than my post-it notes and birthday cards and postcards and stuff like that. So that's, I feel like there's that kind of like personalization of like having someone's handwriting there, like that's unique to them, to like, and have it in a personal way. Like I don't know, for me it's just something that it I just feel it, and not that it's important, but it brings me kind of comfort to know somebody has that for me, and I really
Hmm.
kind of hope that it's a similar feeling for when they they give me a card in some form.
Yeah, I know. It's always that like that funny meme. It's like you get a card off your grandparents and like you pretend you're reading the card and there's like 100 quid on your lap. That kind of, you ever see that meme?
Ah,
No, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Ah, fair play to you. Oh, there's money there as well.
Oh,
No, but yeah,
it's
but
good.
no, I get what you're saying. Like it's a bit more personal when someone puts their own handwriting on it because they took the time out of their day to write it down. Um, I've seen as well, like when Shaun puts this in the group chat, he talked about like connection in both in terms of context with other friendships. One thing that I've started doing with my friends now, and it's not that our conversations were boring, but what would happen was is like a lot of the time when you're living abroad and you show someone a text, is the conversation can be a bit repetitive. It's kind of like the same, like how are you, how are you getting on, what you up to, how's work. I started sending like voice messages now with my mates. So what I'll do is like I'll do one normally like on Monday. Like I'll send the voice messages to like three or four of my mates. There'll be different conversations. It might literally just be like what's going on in my week. How's the family getting on? This is what I'm watching on TV. Da da da. Nicola's doing well. Blah 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 blah. And then they kind of would do the same then back. And I've
Yeah,
started doing it with like four of my friends, and like even them, like we were actually talking about between each other with one of my mates the other day, and we were both saying like how we actually really appreciate that we started doing it this way because even they found like the conversation wise, like when you're texting can be a bit boring because you can't explain stories as good, and you can't catch up as easy as possible because like you even know yourself now, like I mean, again, we've touched on this, but like time schedules where friends can be and family can be really difficult now, especially when you're working. And like for example, like I'm doing work and college, like my time is not, and like we have the podcast, like my time spaced out to like at the moment, like to reach out to friends and family is a bit short timed. So it means like when I get the chances to do this, like doing the voice messages is great because I still get to keep that kind of strong connection with my mates, even though we're not in contact as much as we'd like to. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah, so that's something I've kind of felt done. I'd like highly recommend anyone that's living abroad, or not even living abroad, like maybe you just haven't seen your mate in a while, to just show them a voice message,
yeah,
and kind of maybe it's also nice to hear your friend's voice. Uh, like it's kind of weird, like if you haven't seen someone in a while and you bump into them on the road and you're like, ah, Jesus, I haven't seen you in ages. Like it's great to see. It's kind of great, like to see someone or like even just to hear their voice on like a personal like communication level. So yeah, that's
yeah.
kind
And
of
I
what I
think
noticed.
like voice notes kind of like add that tone to it as well. Like because if you
Definitely.
read a text message, like you can say, you can ask me how I am, and I can say I'm grand, or you can go, yeah, I'm grand, or like no, like the like enthusiasm and the tone of voice are like really important to like how like a conversation flows. Like and like
Yeah.
like the typical thing to say is yeah, grand. Like when things could be brilliant or things could also be pretty crap. Like it's just like like I feel like there's a thing on both ends where like there's like maybe people feel like they're obligated to just say yeah, grand, just to kind of like keep like it keep sorry, just to stay in touch for the sake of like not having an argument or not like falling out or drifting apart, like and it's just like, and then you just like you said, you end up having the same conversation over and over again. Whereas what the voice notes do is they kind of give you that platform to express yourself a little bit more, and
Hmm.
let's be honest, like start basically a mini podcast in your WhatsApp chats,
Yeah,
because I'm sure there'll be like
essentially, yeah.
3 to 4 minute voice notes on what's going on, like but like that's a good thing, like
Yeah, like and like even we were saying like sometimes like you'd be talking to your friend and then you mightn't seen him for a month and then you try to talk about what you're talking about before, but you just completely forget what the context of the story was. He might like reiterate exactly the same points you were saying. Like what we've started doing now is like we've after like saving the messages or some of them you still use Snapchat, so we do it through Snapchat. And like one of the lads was like saying like, oh, we should try save all the voice messages because then like say like I was talking to you about like the context of a TV show, but then we don't talk for a week. He can then go back and listen to the voice note and be like, oh, okay, so this is what we were talking about at this point, and we go back to it. Like that's even something like as well that we've kind of done um recently just to like kind of catch up on what we were previously talking about. Like it doesn't have to be that deep. It could literally just be an interest that we have, like shows or games or whatever. But it also could be like something, personal, like if we're talking about like something to do with family context or maybe like something that was bothering us, it's kind of good in that sense because you're not, everyone's busy. Like you could forget something that I told you, 2 years ago. But in that sense, it's kind of great. Then you're able to keep up like a log day. But like you're saying there, it's like a podcast in the chats now.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
for
And then,
sure.
like, I know we're all guilty of it, listening back to our own voice notes as well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
I
definitely
used
done
to,
it.
and it's not something it's only something I've kind of started doing like semi recently. I used to be always like, oh, why are people listening back to their own voice and stuff? But no, like it's not even like an insecurity or an anxiety thing. It's just like it's more like, did I make my point or did it come across? Okay, like
Yeah.
you would reread a text message or an email or something before you send it. It's almost kind of like that, but you can scan an email pretty quickly. Whereas if you send like a 4 or 5 minute voice note, you're locking in like, and it's also like the thing of like when they read it straight away. So like it's almost like you're listening at the same time as them. So like, oh, they should be at this point now, you know.
What's like a small gesture that like you've received from someone that you were like, oh, that was a nice gift to get. Like it doesn't have to be like me per se. Like it could be like Simone or your family or
Actually, do you know what? The first thing that shot to my head when you said that was actually from you, because you were the only person that did this at the time. When you sent me a mass card for my mom when she died,
oh yeah, yeah.
that you were the only person that did that.
Mm.
And like it was just so lovely and so thoughtful. Not to throw shades in any of my other friends. There's plenty of examples where they've done other things, but that was just the first thing that kind of shot to my head. Um, yeah, because like, and a I'm not a religious person at all. I was actually like advocating. Me and my nana were like debating whether or not the ceremony should be religious or humanistic, and I was very firmly in the humanistic camp, and my nana was very much in the religious side, so we went for the religious
Hmm.
one. But and like I just think it was something that I don't think like I just don't think it's something that anybody would really think to do. Like I even know myself, it's something that I wouldn't think to do. Like like I've gone to people's like like to my friends' families' funerals and stuff. Like it's something I'd never thought to do, and like that was one that like really really stood out to me. Like because I like to consider myself quite thoughtful and stuff. I was like, Jesus, no, I wouldn't have thought that. Like, no, I really, really appreciate it. Like, and even like I say, even as somebody who isn't religious, like it really like stood out to me, and I really, really appreciate it.
I think as well from like on a conscious level from like myself and Nicholas, like we knew due to our circumstances, like of us moving away, that we knew that we couldn't afford to come back,
Mm.
and it wasn't like even from a money sense. And I was like, how can I show, that although the situation, like we kind of, me and myself and Shaun kind of knew it was going to come, like it was just a matter of time when your mom was about going to pass away. It was just kind of like a thing, like what's the best thing that I can do to show, like, look, I'm not here, but I'm not physically there, but I'm there in my thoughts on that day and stuff like that. So, and like we had met up, it was funny because like that had happened, the whole situation happened, and it was still fairly new, and then we had actually planned to come home. I think it was like 3 weeks later,
Yeah,
if I remember
you
correctly.
were home like
Three,
3 weeks later anyway.
yeah,
So
and
like
then we'd
I
actually.
still saw you at that point in my life.
Yeah, yeah, and then because then we had met up in a cafe then to have a bit of grub, and then we were like kind of talking about the situation after, and it was like only till then like I dawned on the whole situation of like, oh, like I was talking to Nicola, like it was actually good that we had, because you were talking to me about like when I gave you the car that you weren't expecting and that it was nice and stuff, so like it just kind of made me feel like more like at least like we weren't there, but at least we were trying to give you some kind of comfort. I
Yeah,
know in these situations it's really hard. It's a thin line between
mm,
like actually giving someone comfort and like you said recently that you went to a person you know's funeral and you were talking to him and saying like, look, this is it's going to be a difficult time for you during this part, but like this is something that I suggest to you. This is what I did. So it's kind of like I was trying to do confer the same thing, but I feel like you conferred it great to that guy, that person who
yeah. And
experienced it as well.
for me, it kind of made you kind of feel part of that
Yeah.
process, like because well, and like also actually another small gesture that like was kind of like part of this was like the amount of people that showed up to that funeral who I hadn't seen for a while, like people that like old co-workers and people I went to college with, and like I was only in my job like 2 months at that point, and all my co-workers came to the funeral. Stuff like that really meant a lot, and it kind of made them feel part of it. Not like it's obviously not their fault what happened, like but it made me like associate that the warming experience of like people being there for you, and like for me, you sending that card was involving you in that, of like it felt like you were a part of the warmer parts of that process, like
Yeah,
which is great.
definitely.
Like like I said, like it was just something I really really appreciated. What about you? What's a small gesture that somebody has done for you?
Now it's like if I don't say Sean, I'm a dickhead.
No, 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 no.
No, no, I'm joking.
You don't
I'm
have you don't have to
joking.
say me at all. It genuinely, when you asked the question, it was the first thing that shot to my head.
No, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, the first thing that just comes to my head now because it was just recent was for my birthday, and it's kind of funny because Sean actually has it written in our chat for the distance dilemma, and it was like I got a care package off my auntie that I
Mm.
just wasn't expecting because she'd sent me a gift for my birthday. She sent me a card, bit of money in it, and I was like, Jesus, even that fair play, like for even sending that. Like I always appreciate, even like we're saying, they're just cards. Like I never expect money or anything like that, so it was really appreciated. But she had sent like a following box, and it was like because I talked to her like about a month before, saying that I can't wait to come home and buy all the crisps and chocolate and everything like that. So she'd like created like a care package, but it was all specifically stuff that I'd like mentioned on the phone that I was missing, like crunchies and stuff like that. So like that was even nice for her to even like go to the shop, purposely pick out stuff that I'd been missing from home and send it over. Like it's small stuff like that that like makes me really miss home and like miss like family members and stuff because they take their time to even think about it, not even to do it. Like for me, it was even the thought that she'd actually walk to the shop and bought all them things. And I think for me with gestures, that is probably like the bigger thing for me. Like the fact that you went out of your way to actively think and do it rather than the actual gift itself. Like of course I was appreciative of all the chocolate and the crisps and stuff, and it took us like 3 weeks to get through, which was great. But for me, again, like we kind of talked before, it's the thought that someone took the time out of their day to gesturally think about me, which was really nice and heartwarming. And again, I don't think I've spoke about it much. Like I do miss Ireland. Like I know I am living in Switzerland. And I'm enjoying myself here. But like for me, like home will always be Ireland. And I think that's for most people. I think Sean talked about it a little bit before when he thought about moving as well. Like it'll never change, and I'm glad about that as well. So yeah,
Mm.
that's for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just I want to kind of maybe just touch on, there was something you
Yeah.
mentioned at the start of this of the topic that like I have tried to actively do for a couple of years, which is like you were saying like now about like wishing people a nice day, and
Yeah.
you were also talking about like people like just saying, oh, you're having a nice hair day, or so that I don't know, I wouldn't go to that like length with strangers, but what I am trying to do like in public when I'm like out and about is like try like when I'm at like little things like when I'm at the shop, like saying like talking to the cashier and saying, like try like because I know myself from being in that like behind the till, it can be
Yeah.
grim, and just trying to smile and be like under like if something's not going 100% the way it should be, like just try and be sound about it, try and just be like, yeah, look, come here, it's grand, no bother. But
Mm.
like I importantly, like it's a habit that I've tried to like be into myself, is like saying to them, have a nice day. Or maybe if I like the guys that are in my local shop who see me like a couple times a week, like just try and say like take it easy, or like try and like actively like give them a word of encouragement, like and try and don't like the amount of people I see just walk off, just go, like they don't even say a word, they just put the
Say a
stuff down,
word.
scan and go. And to be fair, sometimes the people behind the till want that like no context, like they don't say hello, the customer doesn't say
Hmm.
hello. I try myself just to say hello and be a little friendly. Not everybody wants to talk, and like come here, I've had bad days in retail myself where I want to just
Oh yeah.
get
Same.
along, and that's grand. But I try and do like little bits like that where I can. Like, and I think it not only has a good effect on the person, I think it can really have like good, like just from a purely selfish perspective, it can have like a nice effect on yourself, like when you're trying to be good in that way as well. Like it's kind of how it's made me feel since I've started to try and do it. Like I've been doing it for years now, but
Yeah. It's
it's
nice to be nice, that kind of
exactly
way.
that's
Yeah.
it. Like
That's the
it's
perfect saying to relate what he's talking about. But
doing good will make you feel good.
that's it. That's it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? Is there any more you want
I
to add, or
don't.
do we want to?
I think we kind of touched on many of the points. Yeah, voice notes. Yeah, that's kind of all of the top. If anyone was listening and has any things they like to do for people or that makes them have small gestures, you can reach us on the Instagram page. We'd love to hear about it. Also, you can reach us at the distance dilemma at. I said it wrong. Say
The
you want to say
distance
it wrong?
limit pod at
At
gmail.com.
Gmail. I think I forget that pod every single time we
Yeah.
record the podcast.
um,
Yes. So,
yeah.
our pop culture slash current affairs section. And lads, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't been on your phone and you haven't listened to the start of the podcast of context I was talking about, Troy Parrott has put us through to the playoffs. I am specifically saying him because he did a madness. um, where were you actually? I want to ask you, where were you when you watched it?
I was at home just on the couch watching it. Yeah, man, like what the fuck? Like I know before we get like too into it, like we talked about the football like 3 or 4 weeks ago. You know, while we're not a sports and we're not like a football podcast, we cannot not talk about this. And I know
No,
this is going to come out like a week after, so it might not even be news. It might be old
no.
news, but we can't not talk about
We
it because it
cannot
was
talk about it.
incredible. Like one of the most tense football matches of. Well, no, sorry, one of the most tense 10 minutes of football
Yeah,
I've ever witnessed in my life.
yeah.
It was just incredible. It's the reason my voice sounds like this as well. Um, I fucking it was Simone was in the shower and she could hear me over the shower motor, which she was standing right beside. When I let out a mighty roar, as our great beloved Shrek would say, you know. But yeah, I just like was on the edge of my seat. And when Kenny hit that shot in the 90th minute and the keeper saved it, I was fully like, that's the chance and
Yeah,
it's gone.
I was the same. I was the
I was
same.
like, yeah, the second when Hungary scored their second, and we got to like the 65th minute and didn't look like scoring, I was like, I don't see us scoring two, you know. But Troy Parrott, what else?
Yeah.
What else has to be
Oh,
said, man? What
for
else
anyone
has
actually
to be
that doesn't
said?
know what happened, we didn't actually give any context. We just kind of jumped straight in.
Yeah,
Essentially, Ireland's football team, our international squad, we had to play two games. We played against Portugal. It was the last, yeah, so on Friday. Was
Thursday.
it Friday? Thursday, sorry. And we won 2-0. We played very well. Ronaldo got sent off. It was all doing very much. Again, Troy Parrott scored two goals. Again, essentially, we had to play Hungary in a playoff match to get into the playoffs for the World Cup qualifiers. And we had went 1-0 down after 4 minutes, which was not looking great. We were able to pull one back after 15 minutes, and then Varga for Hungary scored an
Screamer,
unbelievable goal, a
screamer.
screamer.
Oh my
It's
god.
kind of very similar to the James Rodriguez goal from the World Cup. If
Yeah.
you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen that goal, look it up on YouTube.
I think, do you
Um,
know what, the commentators were giving Nathan Collins and Dara O'Shea a lot of stick for that. And I was
Nah,
like, look,
nah,
right, man,
nothing.
nobody was expecting a pop shot like
No,
that. Like, I'm
no,
sorry, like
no.
because they were playing a low block as well, So
Yeah,
I think I did think the commentary on RTU were a little bit harsh on the two lads there,
so
but
harsh.
what a goal, like
What a goal.
screamer.
Yeah, and
Like
then
if that had been the goal that knocked us out, I would have been fairly content
no,
with it. It was a
yeah,
screamer.
fair, fair. And then thankfully enough, Troy Parrott was able to pull one back and equaliser. I think it was like in the 80th minute,
80th minute, yeah.
and say 5 minutes were additional were added on. It wasn't looking good. Like Shaun said there, we kind of had a pop shot just outside. It was outside the box, wasn't it? I can't remember. In the 90th minute, the keeper saved it, and that was kind of looking like it was gonna be our last shot. And it was kind of a hit and hope near the end of the game. Kelleher gave a nice out 50-yard pass into the box. Was it Nathan Sky? I can't remember his name.
No, Liam Scales.
Liam Scales, sorry. Liam Scales knocked it down, and Troy Parrott was somehow able to get his toe poke into the goal. If you haven't seen it, like I said, you must have been living under a rock
Yeah,
because
it's
all my feed has been the
everywhere.
past 3 days is everywhere. And like I was only watching, like for context, I was playing poker in the pub when we were watching it, and it was gas. There's about 50 Irish people in the pub. No, barely anyone was in the pub that day, so there's not many Swiss people. And when the goal went in, of course everyone was going mental. One of the lads had their top off. He was shaking around. Like people were hugging each other, kissing each other, saying how great it was. People were ringing their families and stuff like that. And the woman at the bar was like, she's Swiss, and she was like, "Oh, so this means that you're in the World Cup." And I was like, and I was
We're
like,
not.
no, I was like, we're not even in the World Cup yet. That was just the qualifier. And she was like, the way you are all celebrating. I was like, you don't understand. This is huge for us. We're so small. And that's the
Yeah,
one thing I
like
love about
God,
Irish
what's
people.
gonna happen if we actually fucking qualify?
Oh,
That's
oh
like,
man, oh, I can't even imagine. Like, and like I've even said it. Like, I always say this, and I think I've said this to Shaun many times. Like, we have never experienced Ireland in a World Cup. I know I think it was last time was
2002. So we
2002.
were like three.
2002, we were three.
We
So
we
come on,
didn't we
lads.
didn't
Yeah,
know what
the
was
Euros
happening.
is great. We've got to experience the Euros twice, which has been beautiful, and I haven't really enjoyed it. But for me, everyone always talks about how different the atmosphere is when a World Cup's on. Like, if we actually qualify for the World Cup, like, I'm gonna come home to Ireland purely just for the atmosphere. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happening. Um, but on besides the football side, can we just talk about on the principle of like as a nation how big it is?
Oh my
Because
God,
we're
I
very
am
much a
not.
country. Sorry, you go on again.
No, you go ahead. Go for it.
So
Sorry.
just as if people don't know Ireland, Irish people very well, like we are so big on us doing well in national sports. Like we've always been big on that, especially the football team because we're not that good. With the rugby team, we do celebrate it, but we're quite good at it. We're in the top five, top 10 at least. But for Irish football, it's huge in Ireland. So as in for us to or for Troy Park, for us, I'm talking about, for Troy Park to pull that off as a nation, like it was just great. Like I've seen so many videos of like, like the older generation saying how great it was for them to see the Irish national team back to a certain level again and stuff like that. Like, and it just gives a lot of hope to young footballers as well because Troy Park's from North Dublin. It's a very rough area. And to see him like do it on the national level as well as his club level, he's in great form at the moment at his club, and he's at the Dutch side. Uh, is it AZ? I can't think of the name of it.
Alkazam or something like that, isn't it?
Alcaz.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Alkazam or Alcazar or
But
something like that.
yeah, honestly, it was amazing. I have to say, it was up there with the top three best moments I've watched Ireland games, and I've been to a good few of them as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
great,
it
great.
was, and like honestly, so I be honest with you, man, I started crying.
Yeah,
I was crying when the guy, like I could not fucking believe it. Like you said, we've never seen Ireland in a World Cup. And World Cups are different. Like even
no,
like for as long as every time a World Cup comes around, people who aren't into football are watching the World Cup. Like
yeah,
there's wagers on in offices and there's just a good vibe because you've got like for example like there's so many Brazilians in Ireland right now, like and you've got like a huge following for the Brazil national team then, and then you've got
hmm
a big Polish population, and there's always people watching the Polish, and it's so lovely to see. But we haven't had Ireland there,
yeah,
and like when the Euros have been on, it's been such great crack. Like it's one of those things that like it, and I think it's come at such like I really think it would be so great, not just for a sports sense, but I actually think the people of Ireland really need something like this that unites them, because
yeah, definitely.
I really feel the left and right political sides of Ireland are so tensely against each other. Now, not as tense as America, where the World Cup is happening. Like it's not to that level
hmm
now, but I do feel like there's been a tension brewing in Ireland for the last one when you look at the likes of the riots that happened
Yeah,
and the spoiled votes at the election recently and a lot of the kind of political commentary that's been happening over the last 2 3 years. I really feel the country has needed something to unite it and kind of get behind. I feel like this is that platform, like and like I
definitely.
said, man, like some of the videos I've been seeing, like from places from Irish bars in Australia and the States and Dublin. Did you see the video in Dublin Airport?
Yeah,
As
yeah, yeah.
well,
So yeah.
and the video in Liffey Valley. Did you see that
Mm-hmm,
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Like
seen the one.
the scenes are like it's just incredible. Like, and it kind of made me go, oh, I kind of wish I was like out watching it. Like I had it happen at do you remember the Chelsea United match like 2 years ago where we scored 2 goals in two
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
against you guys in the last minute of the game, and I was at a Chelsea fan club meeting for that when watching that match, and like to be in that room with like these people, and the person that you're hugging could have like the complete opposite opinions on you in so many things, but it's just something that unites people for good. I really
That's
feel
yeah.
that it's like the Irish people have needed something like this, and I just long may it continue. Like let's fucking go
Yeah.
to America, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Like I've got like that's what they said, and like here's the thing: is like they've proved themselves 2 games in the back. Why not? Why can't we not qualify? I've been hearing a lot of doubts from people like that are outside of Ireland, like saying, "Oh, they've no chance in the playoffs and stuff." Like you just got to wait and see, and just go into it confident. We're on the back, we're on the up. The country's behind you. And like Sean says, like it has honestly on a simplistic level, like it really the football is the lowest amount. The pure happiness that would give to the country if for Ireland to be in a World Cup would be immense. It would do so much for people to just watch them on the big stage, and I really hope they do it. And it'd be unfortunate if they don't even get through the semi-finals. But look, we're backing them. I believe. I think we'll do it. And yeah, long may it continue.
Sure, like it's a, we I do I think that I actually funnily enough, like the next set of internationals, these the playoff rounds will happen in March, and like it's funny because I would rather the games be in like 2 weeks time,
Yes, yeah.
because we've got such a momentum going now
Hmm.
after those two wins. Like so you'd be afraid that like we'll go back into club football and momentum might just die down a little bit, or somebody could get injured, like Troy Parrott might
Injured.
get injured, or Nathan Collins, or like one of the big
Hmm.
names, or Kelleher could just get a knock that takes him out for one of the games, and you want to kind of keep that momentum going,
Definitely.
Um, but yeah, look, we will see because yeah, we big things to come. Look, we can do. The thing I think we need to go out with the mindset of we beat Portugal convincingly 2-0, you know, and we've got a decent. Like I know I was very critical of the lads on the podcast a few weeks ago, but like we've got a couple of Premier League proven players. We've got a brilliant goalkeeper. We've got a world class goalkeeper. We've got a decent enough defense, and we've got two strikers who can finish a ball when it's hoofed up to them in Evan Ferguson and Troy Parrott. So
Hmm.
come on,
We
keep on
believe.
green.
That's
Come on,
it. We
believe.
have belief, and long may it continue, and hopefully they get the job done. But unfortunately, we have to wait till March, which is kind of suck.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what we do not have to wait for is this week's distance dilemmas. This is the
nice,
section,
Sean.
ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Yeah. This is the section where you guys are sending in your dilemmas to us, and we're going to read them out anonymously and give some advice or air our thoughts or whatever calls for. As always, these are totally anonymous. I have no idea who sent these in. Imran gets the messages and rewords them, randomizes them, throws them into a big pile, and we pull them out at random, and they come up as they are. So we have no idea who sent these in. We have no ideas about the context or the people or anything. So we'll get straight into it. This week's Distance Dilemmas, I'll let Imran read this
Yeah.
one out for you.
So, I'm religious, and one time at work, a colleague asked me, why do I wear the headscarf? I said, because I like it and it represents my religion. He replied, I think religion is stupid, and you can't be a scientist and be religious at the same time. Do you want to go first? Another complex one from last week as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll let you. I'll let you speak unless you want me to go.
I think. when I read this, I obviously I sent it into our group chat, because that's what I normally do before me and Shaun kind of dissect it before we get into it, and so this is the second time I'm kind of reading it. The first thing I noticed when I was reading it was, what principle does the guy you work with have to say about that? So he's kind of reflecting his own views back onto you. Like he says, I think religion is stupid and you can't be a scientist and be religious at the same time. So he's trying to push his ideas onto you without even asking what your ideas are. So automatically that's like his views are irrelevant to the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And like religion and science have been side by side for years, and there is a lot of comparisons. There's this thing in the Christian religion that says that it's highly against the way of Christ and the way that the world has started. So I think for this person to say this without any kind of backup of like what his context is saying was kind of like a very disrespectful, considering it's in a workplace. Um, Initially as well when I read it, it was like, this is not coming from someone who's a friend. It's just someone who's a colleague. So kind of take that for what it is. This kind of naivety that his opinion can be said, oh, you can't be a scientist and religious at the same time. See, again, there's not much context here. We don't know how it progressed, but for initially when I read it, I just thought that for someone to do this, it's very insensitive of him to, even at first say that, and then also a second time to not even back himself up. So that's kind of
Yeah,
what I have to say on the situation.
yeah, and just to kind of reiterate, it does say in it he replied, so we know the person who said this is a guy.
Yeah,
But honestly, just a bit of a fucking prick move. Honestly, it's just he's just an asshole, and like I will as well to say on this. I am a staunch atheist. I don't believe in God. I've no interest. I've no time to talk about religion. However, wherever floats your boat, if you believe in religion, happy days. Do whatever suits you. I don't care. What that's just straight up fucking harassment and bullying. If it's
hmm
especially if it's a continuous thing, like if so I'm assuming it says she's wearing sorry,
a
I'm sorry,
headscarf. Yeah,
a headscarf.
yeah.
So like she's wearing the headscarf, or the person, sorry, it doesn't say she or I don't know, but this person's wearing the headscarf, and like if you take religion out of it, if someone was to just walk up to you and say something about another item of clothing you're wearing, so let's say your shirt or something, I think that's stupid. I like say to ban. Oh, I think they're shy. I think they're stupid. I think it's ridiculous. Whatever like that. If that was a reoccurring thing, like that is bullying, harassment. It is any like with religion involved. Like I just think it's ridiculous. And if you didn't already do this, I would highly recommend reporting that to the boss. Now could be more complicated than that. They could be the boss or something like that. But I just think it's like really ignorant and stupid. There's no need for it as well. It's like just fucking leave people be. Like if they want to believe what they want to believe, just let them do it. Like.
Yeah, it's kind of like, who does he think he is to put himself in that position to comment on that person wearing the headscarf? It didn't really make sense to me. And again, there's actually a lot of scientists who have a big background in religious beliefs.
Hmm.
Even just because someone believes that the world started, for example, like maybe the Big Bang Theory, that doesn't mean that they don't have some kind of somewhat faith to some religious factor. So
Yeah, because
again, like,
I think a
sorry.
lot of people like use it as like moral code of sorts, or like a guiding thing of like they find it comforting that if they do good they'll end up in heaven,
Yeah,
or if they do bad they'll end up
yeah.
in hell. That
hmm
sort of carry on. Again, it doesn't really float my boat, but if that's how you feel, well, oh well, that's good for you, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
And just let people be in peace. Like it's just a dick move. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
No, but you're right. It's like if you're not, for me with religion, like I'm an agnostic atheist, which means that I don't believe, but that doesn't mean I'm not open to the idea of any beliefs. Um, but my kind of thing with this whole kind of comment that he made was that he's making that comment initiating that she's first of all stupid for wearing the headscarf, because he says, I think religion is stupid and you can't be a scientist and a religious at the same time. So you're initiating that she's stupid, right? Or he or she. So the first thing is comment on that. And then the second thing is, you're putting your beliefs in a workplace onto this person. When do you think the person really wants to hear your comments? Like, let's be real. You're just coming in from a harmful place, not open to the idea that this person decides to wear the headscarf. So, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's just there's no. there's no like basis for it. There's no justification for it. Like just
There's
fucking,
that's it. Perfect word
you
right there.
know.
Justification. There's zero justification for the comment. So yeah, idiot.
Like
We're,
if you like one the kind of thing that sticks out at the end there is you can't be a scientist and religious. It's like, man, like who cares? Like people put pineapple on pizza. Get over
a great comparison. A great comparison.
it. Not to say, hold on a minute. I don't want to just like brush over that and like cause like massive offense. Like no, my point behind that is just leave people fucking be, right? Don't like do I like pineapple on my pizza? No, fuck no. But sorry, I've just gone into damage control there for a second. Just
Oh,
like
that's gonna
I
be
don't.
such a good. That has to be a clip for next week. That's hilarious. Oh God.
Anyway, just the main
Anyway,
point behind that is just leave people alone, let them be, and if they want to fucking wear a headscarf or a hijab or put pineapple on a pizza, just fucking let them be, you know.
yeah. What Sean said. Sean for president. We'll move on to the
We
next
don't have
point.
the techers like Catherine Conley, unfortunately.
That's it. That's it.
Back in me prime, maybe.
No worldies, you know.
No.
Right, moving on. I'm 26 and I still have no idea what I want to do with my life. Everyone around me seems to have it figured out, but I feel left behind. Is that just part of your 20s? You want to go first on this one?
Sure. Well, is that just part of being in your 20s? We're both 26, so like we're still. I'm gonna say we're in our mid 20s still. Not
Still have no idea
officially.
what I'm doing with my life.
Nobody knows, man. Like I know
No.
people in their 30s who ask the same question. Everybody, I know it seems like people have their shit together. Spoiler alert, nobody does.
It's
No,
just a big wing.
everybody is winging it, man. Everybody
Yeah.
is really just trying to put their best foot forward and look after their own family, friends, hobbies,
Themselves.
interests. You know, it's man. The world's a really complicated and scary place. You know, and if like what you see, I think especially with social media, like I think that's where like a big part of this perception could come from. Again, I don't know this
Yeah.
person. I don't know the full context of like everybody seems. I don't know where you're seeing all this like but on social media, everybody's got the perfect life.
Yeah.
Like if you look at my social media, it looks like all I do is rehearse, play gigs. Like that's not all I do. Like or you go on to any model's Instagram, like like or any of your friends, like they're not posting about the shit they just had at work, or they're not posting about the family fight that they had last week. That's having an effect on them for a
Exactly.
couple of days after, like um, everybody like it's only like your really close friends that you're gonna know the real like inner details of what's going on, and like realistically, that's only gonna be like 4 to 8 people in your life really that you're gonna know fully. Like I'm not saying you only have like 4 to 8 friends, like, but I'm saying like where you really know the details of their situation and they know the details of your situation in depth enough to understand your mindset and why you are where you are with full context. You
Hmm.
know, so honestly, just try your best, man. That's all anyone can ask of you in anything in life, in work, in your hobbies, in your relationships. Just try your best, and everybody's just winging it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I greatly agree with Sean, with everything Sean is saying there. I mean, I can understand the idea of feeling like you don't know what to do with your life because, like, you know, I'm living abroad, I'm back in college, I have a decent job, I work, I get to live with my girlfriend, but I still don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, I still don't feel like I've got this some kind of ideal of society that I have, a purpose or, a meaning to my life, which I think a lot of people on a lot on a humanistic level, like at different ages, they still don't ever. Some people never find out what they want to do, and some people might find until they're in their 80s 90s, then they're like, this was my purpose, this is what I wanted to do. So I do think, like Sean said there, social media plays a major factor, kind of putting social pressures onto this is where I need to be in part of my life. Like I see these now, it's like I'm 19 and I run 3 businesses, and I work out every single day. I only eat clean, healthy. Like again, like if that's what you want to do and that's what you want to do with your life, that's perfect. But like I mean, on a society level, like there is no end factor to like doing well. I just think Sean alliterated his point about just doing your best is kind of like what we can all do as humans. Like You know what I mean? And like there is times where like you will not be motivated to be your best as well. Like let's just put that out there. It's
Yeah,
it's
for
an
sure.
easy factor saying like I'm going to do my best on everything I do, but that's that's not a healthy way to live. You try your best. Um, but yeah, I think for this person, whoever sent it in, male or female, um, I think just give yourself a little bit of time and think, and give yourself a bit more respect. I think to say that you have no idea what you want to do with your life. I think that's a fair resentment to have when you're in your 20s. I think even in your 30s, 40s, 50s, as long as you're trying your best, I think there's no harm there. So yeah, I hope this
Yeah,
person feels a bit more, maybe a bit more optimistic for what's ahead of them, because I'm sure they have a good few years ahead of them to think about what they want to do with their life. So yeah,
and just to kind of like focus in on that part of like not having an idea of like what you want to do. I think that's like a really like exciting opportunity to explore things.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely try
and
things.
like I would really encourage this person or people to just try new things. Like if you can say yes to something, like whether it's a new cuisine or travel to a place you never thought you'd travel to, or a hobby. Like some of the best crack I've ever had on nights out have been like ended up in places where I never thought I was going to be. And like I'll give you an example with me from like a couple of years ago when I was like 18 or 19 or something like that. Like I was asked, did I want to go to a drag show? I was like, sure, yeah, fuck it, why not? I think now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that like I love drag, but drag is fucking great crack, and I feel like a lot of straight lads would be like, drag, oh no, what? But why would? And then when you go into it, you see what it actually is, you
Yeah.
know. Or you can talk about that in different cuisines and stuff as well. Like, no, oh, I don't know about Indian food, blah blah blah. You try it and you see what's class. And this is like a really dumbed down, simplified version. Like,
Nice
obviously there's
comparison
different.
again, Sean.
I understand, like, things like that are very different to, like, like traveling to a different country, or like, taking a chance on a relationship or something like that, like, but what I'm trying to get at is like keep an open mind with things, like, I think I'm quite lucky in the sense that I know what I want. Like, I know I want to be a musician. I know I want to be a touring artist. I know I want to make money off music, and that's both. It's a
But that
it's
also
like
took time for you to realize. Sorry for cutting across you, but like again, like that, you didn't know that when you were growing up. Like when you were growing up, you were a massive Chelsea fan. You probably wanted to be a footballer. Like a lot of us that were growing up. Like I was growing up, I was like I wanted to be a footballer. Then after a footballer, when I started playing GA, I wanted to play for Dublin. Didn't work out. Had a couple of chances. And then life gets in the way. Then I got in a relationship. Like things change to what adapt, and then you kind of adapt to like
mm,
what's kind of happening in your life. So I think for this person, like I wouldn't be so hard on themselves, because I feel like they are doing that, because they state in the message as well. What's it called? Sorry, I have it here. Everyone around me seems to have it figured out. They don't.
they don't.
They
They
don't. They
absolutely
really
don't.
don't. They don't. And like Sean said, they're like social media isn't real. We all put up pictures from our nice holidays, but we don't put up the picture of the shit we just had 3 days ago from the horrible Indian food poisoning we got. So I know our comparisons are way off topic today, but yeah, I think on a final note, just give yourself a bit more praise and just take a bit more time and try new things. That's kind of
Yeah,
what
and
I have to
take
say
it
on
day
it.
by day as well. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to look at things in like the grand consciousness of, oh, my 20s. Like, a day is a long time, a week is a long time. Like, just take it, like, the fact, like, even a big thing there, I'm 26. Like, not a lot, there's a lot of people in the world that don't make it to that age. Like, you think a lot of people in Palestine right now, you think of,
Hmm.
like, past generations that caught illnesses that there wasn't cures
Yeah.
for and stuff, like,
Yeah.
so you know, don't be afraid to live in the moments. And like, it's something we've kind of touched a bit on. I won't go too into this because I know we've kind of got to wrap up in the next few minutes, but we've touched a bit on the last couple of weeks in these segments of like putting yourself first, like, and that's like just as important here to, like, follow your gut, try things that are within your limits, and have an open mind to things. And like I said, just be proud that you are where you are, because not everybody gets to that point, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think Sean kind of touched on everything that I wanted to say there. So yeah. Thanks for sending them in. Really appreciate it. Um, and really enjoying your dilemmas.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Well, Jesus, right, I royally fucked up. My voice. Apologies for this whole podcast. Like that Troy Parrott goal. Like I said, fuck my voice over royally because I said this to Imran before we started recording, but it wasn't even too bad the day um of it. So like I celebrated accordingly, and then on we're recording this on Tuesday, so 2 days after the game. On Monday, I was in rehearsals with the lads, and it was only after our rehearsal session, after singing and a bit of screaming and stuff in the microphone, that I came back and I was like, oh, my voice is not it's not great right now. So yeah, apologies for that. But anyway, enough said about that, guys. Thank you very, very much for listening to episode number 40 of the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun. I'm in Dublin, Ireland. This has been Imran. He is in Thun, Switzerland. This is our long distance friendship podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you again next Monday at 7 a.m. Central European Time and 6 a.m. GMT. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you again next week.
Ciao.